let's dive right in and we'll talk about it. And you'll see from the graphics that I'm going to share with you why that is so. I'm going to share my screen. And on my screen here, you should see very tiny letters right now. I will make it bigger. What is a graph to show you intestate succession in Washington state. And what that means when I say intestate is what happens if you don't have a will. So think of what it says, last will and testament. That means you have a will. Intestate means you don't have a will. So if you would let me know, if somebody could just like raise their hand, can you see this okay? Or do I need to make it even bigger? Is that okay? Okay, thank you. So where does this come from? It comes from our laws in Washington state. That's what I'm focusing on right now, no other state. So the RCW 11.04.015 is where this graph comes from: descent and distribution of real and personal property for those people who die intestate. So look at the statute here. That's where all of this graph comes from, aside from one other thing we're going to be talking about at the very end, and that is what happens if there are step parents and how do they avoid what this word is, escheat. What is escheat? That means it goes to the state as opposed to other folks. So let's start with the chart. This chart is actually, it is kind of confusing, I admit it, but hey, if there's not a will in place, it gets confusing. So don't be shy to ask questions. They'll be brought to my attention as well so that we can go over those because I'm happy to answer your questions as we go. So remember, what we're talking about today is what happens if somebody dies and they have not done their estate planning. Typically, that means they have not done a will. Frankly, if there's been no estate planning done, the person doesn't have a will. They don't have a revocable living trust. They've never even thought about where their assets should go when they die. And this often happens with folks who are perhaps younger because the thought of, mortality is not quite so much on their mind. But it happens with everybody. A lot of people just, you can avoid doing an estate plan. It's like, can you avoid going to the dentist? Well, for a while, but at some point your tooth is going to get so painful, you're going to get into that dentist. Well, are you going to get in to see the estate planning lawyer? Why? I mean, you might not do so because you know what? If you're going to die, it's going to be way off in the future and you're not even going to worry about it. So as a result, frankly, it's a large number. It's like over 50% of adults do not have a will, do not have estate planning. And as a result, you are going to see what type of situation their family is going to be left with.